Streaming. Okay, recording.
Good evening, everyone. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May Star and the News and Atlantic City Press, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as the required notice under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. We all rise for a flag salute and silence our phones.
Under God, indivisible.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Sabo.
Here.
Sorry. Mayor Sabo.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Dick.
Here.
Commissioner Antonisella.
Here.
Also reflect, Solicitor Erica Lozama, her associate Joseph, our engineer, Nathan Chadwell. Good, thank you for coming up. On the work session tonight, we have under our old business, our discussion around affordable housing applications. As we mentioned before, we were waiting for the elapse of the appeal period and the scheduling closing property on Avenue expected in November. Special events, we are in receipt of a draft copy from Erica of agreements pertaining to special events. Erica has a lot of shaded areas to read. I love it. You can.
All right, perfect. So thank you, Mayor. So this ordinance, we have two sections of the Borough Code, 4-7 and 9-1, that discusses special events, one on public property and, private property, and one on municipal property. So there were some conflicting terms with the definition. Special events was defined a different way in each code. So what we did here is we consolidated both of them into one code. We're removing section 9-1 and we're putting it into 4-7. So what I've done is I've gone through, I've looked at the definition of both, I've consolidated definitions, I've consolidated the application process. What I have highlighted in my comments to the right, and the commissioners will see, are things I need to get confirmation regarding fees. Are we changing fees? Deadlines to submit applications. But I do have my comments on the side. So I think this is a really good starting point. I want to stress Mr. Corrado, who's not here today, but this is a very complicated ordinance, and please take the time to go through it. I don't want to rush anything. We can definitely go back and discuss the facts of drawing board on a couple of things, but I'd like to take the time to really go through this. But otherwise, I think this is much more clear and much more borough user friendly.
Okay, so the idea being too, when you pull up the code, you'll be able to understand what you're looking at a little more clearly.
Correct, and just to highlight, Mayor, is there was, the reason we really started this was because we wanted to make sure that if there were private events that utilized borough, if they needed to use borough personnel, provide a traffic study or get insurance and name the borough as an additional insured, we wanted to make sure that fell under a special event that needed to go through the borough. So that's really what started this, and I made sure to include that in here.
Is that defined what that means when you're using borough personnel. You know, is normal policing considered a borough personnel?
That's one use, yes. That's one use. And I have a,
Or is it an extraordinary? You know, I mean, it seems like the normal policing is part of everyday occurrences, which is thinking out loud.
something to think about, I think, in terms of the how many are we using, in what capacity are we using them? So that's a, we can discuss that, I can look into that.
Like the extraordinary use of resources.
Right, I'll need to define extraordinary use then.
Yes.
That's, I know what you mean, I'll look
Again,
into
just thinking out loud, so let's review this and, because we will just receive this.
Yeah, we just received it, so, I mean, I think you hit on the point, we did have a lot of discussion in the last two meetings, Mayor and Jack and Frank and yourself. I think it is really important, even when we don't have the jurisdiction to say, no, you can't do this, or yes, you can through a resolution, we have the right to be able to be notified, and, right, so that's the overarching intent, and whether it comes out of the one, combining them, or we need to look at this and say, hey, maybe we should do it two separately, because maybe we can make it clearer that way, that's fine, but since we just got this, I honestly have not read this. So, as long as we hit those categories and the end result hits that, I'm good.
As long as, again, that all of it special, but the people special, so really, well, we have to know what's going on, period. That's just the big thing, is I don't know what's going on. And it's not fair that people do it, Stevens Street on Friday night, there's 2 weddings on Beach Club, and those are 400 cars are flying maniacs in the windows. And then there's calls there, and ready for them. They have to be ready for this stuff. It's part of the manpower. The police chief, when he makes his manpower for the day and a weekend, you know, he knows summertime, of course, they have extra people. It's a summer, and then there's extra stuff going on. So especially when he covers West Cape May, Cape May City, he needs to know at whatever the farming says, doing, he has to know everything. And for the safety and well-being of everybody here. That's all.
So we're on,
Anything, yes. Again, we would see the rules, to get used to your notations. So, this is our discussion around the ordinance amendment. Mercantile license, it's a thing of most note is, the elimination, if I see it, of the early discount. Which may not have been.
so how, I have a question on the discount on the ordinance. Is that actually part of the ordinance, or is that something we offer, and do we need to change the ordinance to eliminate the discount? For example, the people that are going to submit their applications now.
This is in the ordinance.
I know,
So
so it has to be, okay.
this will be part of the amendment. It'll have strike through, but I wanted to put this there and it's still there. Yeah, this is still there, it needs a strike through. In other words, that's the big change, if I understand that the commissioner's not done, it's to totally remove that column.
Yeah, and there's obviously a few adjustments we're going to make based on the costs associated with different things. So I pulled a bunch of the shore towns' mercantile license, and so I'm trying to make sense of what ours is relative to what theirs are, and actually come up with something fair.
Discussed, but there was some discussion at one point about having the mercantile license based on square footage for home rental. And I wasn't entirely comfortable with that. It felt like, the paperwork involved with the mercantile license for 2,000 square foot home or 1,500 square foot home is the same. So,
So I would let you know that almost every municipality actually does it on square footage. We do it on restaurant square footage. So to me, there's precedent.
well, that's different because there's seat plans, et cetera, that need to be addressed. You know, with a restaurant or something like that, every year they have to submit their seating plan, and that, you know, so the numbers that has to be corroborated. So I feel like that's different than house rentals. Yeah. Just, again, just my opinion, I feel like.
I'll look into that.
Hopefully, obviously, we just got this update, we'll go through that also and look at it, and hopefully we can have a final meeting for the next, that we all agree upon, we can vote on for the next.
And I just want to point out why we're looking at a change of fees. If I'm correct, they haven't been updated since 2007.
That's correct.
Okay, so it's 2007. This is not a moneymaker, just so that, this is not a generator. It's not out of greed. It's out of necessity. It's because of, as I mentioned here, there's expenditure of time, of money in regulating and inspecting and keeping an eye on all these growing businesses. So that's really just to cover the administrative costs of that.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
Anything else under old business? All right. Under new business, we have discussion surrounding street signs and light posts for the historic district and the borough at large. And Jackie sent an email to yes. And you want to start?
Yeah, thank you, here. You know, back in 2008, there was an old study that, I don't remember, I think of the pen, Cambridge, it was a study of the urban design of the business district, and it's a nice report, and it was pretty detailed, some cool stuff, and they wanted the building tax, and the old 7-Eleven was. He pushed up on the street front property, the local taxpayers and everything, with apartments above, and again, most new street lines, and clock, and matching lamp posts, and the matching benches, and waste paper, metal cans, things like that, so that it would bring identity to the borough. The lamps, I remember back then had WCM, there was pictures of the lamp posts that could accept flags, and
That was sorry to interrupt, that was an initiative by Commissioner Wrigley,
yeah.
and was a designer and planner and his partner.
It was pretty cool.
Yes.
It was great, and I just figured, well, it's, you know, we have this historic district, we have, you know, we're a small town, I think we should establish our boundaries, who we are, and I think we should, by doing this beautification and upgrading our own street lamps and maybe a clock somewhere, and it can come in different phases, and with street signs that indicate we're in the historic district. Similar to Ocean City Council, I know you live in Ocean City, they have historic district on their section of the street sign, similar things.
Yeah, it looks really nice. It's the historic district.
Not that much money, but it's gonna be important, put things back into the borough. You know, that's, you know, an accident, again, then we have a historic district, where is it, no one knows. It should be known, this is the district, and you're in it, and then eventually even deeper, maybe signs. I just, recently, there was a nice thing in North Wallwood, they put 25, 12 by 24 historic signs that you could read. For example, there was an old grammar school that's there now, there was an old hospital, Margaret Base. If you guys remember, Margaret Base was an old hospital, that's where everyone was born down here. And so there's a sign there saying this is where Margaret Base was, it's all over there, but a little story. So whatever people want to decide, the top 5 or 10 things that we should, you know, I think it'd be a great thing for everyone to walk around and just read, and it'd be cool.
Yeah, I ask you to maybe make a connection with Leslie Giammo from the county. She is in charge of what's called creative placemaking, and it's kind of, they had some money sponsored for that.
North Wallwood, the city clerk is a real big story. And it's all about North Wallwood. They weren't cheap, they were $2,200 for the sign installed with concrete. And that's just, they get 25 of them, so, I mean, if you get 5 to start, famous spots, I don't know what, a hot spot. Bowman Park, or Green Farm, whatever.
The little sign
Yeah,
to
a couple.
tell you where.
This is what used to be, here, this is what it is. We got a beautiful town, it's gorgeous. I don't think it'll be too much, I know it takes time, it'll take planning, and it'll take money, of course.
I think, Jack, I mean, I think it's a great idea. I come at it from a slightly different slant than you do, because, I've been working with at DPW, a lot of our street signs, the green ones are all faded. So we've been working on replacing them incrementally. But if this is a way you can put street signs that have, hey, West Cape May Historic, and they're different than there's a standard green sign, that'd be a great start, and it's something that if we're paying to put new street signs in anyway, this would just be an increment cost above that. And again, I think that our history in this town should be celebrated, because else we lose it. So I think identifying maybe like from, where we were looking was Park to Pacific, the historic section, which is, and the Borough Hall down to Sunset, changing all those street signs. I actually was looking at a bunch of poles and have videos on the top. Obviously, cost is important, so we need to decide what we want to start trying to do. And I think that's a good starting point. Talking about putting markers on specific houses, I think that would be a good idea too. We probably work with HPC on which ones. I don't really want to get into a huge argument, but this house should have one. We should have an agreement on what that can be. So I think it's a good idea. I think, but again, I think an easy start is replacing the street signs anyway. Let's look at the incremental cost above replacing the standard signs and present.
Yeah, thank you, it's very, I think it's a great thing. It's historic, but it's not somewhere.
Anything else about that, Chair?
And well, the big wish, this will be a clock somewhere, I think the clock is, well, it's a 4-sided clock or a 2-sided, but they seem really, they stand there, whether it's in front of Borough Hall, at Bowman Park, the hot spot, or wherever you guys want to something. Thank you.
We'll need to keep it exactly on the
Hot
clock.
tub.
It has to keep time.
None of those clocks that are stopped. That's under new business. Right, at this time, I'll open for public comment. Anyone in the public would like to speak on anything discussed during the work session, please come forward and state your name. All right, we'll move on to the regular meeting. On the consent agenda, we have the minutes from the October 9th meeting. We have no ordinances for introduction and publication, and resolutions. Resolution for trick or treat is on Halloween from 5 to 7. It's Thursday, October 31st from 5 to 7. Resolution 149-24 approving the ABC Social Affairs Permit application, New Jersey Farmers Co-op, Willow Creek Winery. And resolution 150-24 to pay the bills. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
The second motion.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Antonicello,
Yeah,
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Yes.
Mayor Sabo.
Yes. Okay, on the consent agenda, we have no ordinances for second reading of public hearing and no resolutions to discuss. Commissioners' reports.
okay, how you doing? On the environmental point, I have a report from the 13th, that we're going to drown, so I won't be wearing it. All stated. And it's at a 100% watch. So I got a list of things that were sent to me. Just 10 simple things that we should do to try to preserve whatever everything counts, every crop counts. But just to reduce usage by 65% of use commercial car wash instead of washing at your house, just going to maybe Bureau Granite. Postpone water intense yard work, like greasing your lawn until maybe next fall, or whatever, until, just postpone things if it's not necessary. Sweet patios versus drive-in with the power washer is a good one. Of course, fixed leaks around your home with the irrigation system and the small leaks from the faucets. Of course, oh, this is a tough one, but take 5 minutes to shower, I don't know. I'm a 2-minute shower, but people, if you got a lot of hair, forget about it. So I don't know, run your washing machine, try to have a full capacity with your dishwasher as well. And here's why I didn't realize this, raising lawnmower blades at least 3 inches below a deeper grass root, which holds water. I didn't realize that raising your blade just, yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, so guys, that could your own water, we tell your contractor. And, install the last one is install low flow water head, what's it, for toilets and showers. They have low flow shower heads. Instead of pouring out like a rain shower, 20 gallons a minute, they have a different head that you feel like you're getting as much water, but you're not using as much water. Onto the police. I get my report, of course, I have September's report again, 330 calls, there were 3 arrests, 38 motor vehicle stops with 16 traffic summonses. I got a report from the fire, which I normally didn't get, it's my first one, that they're adding to the list for Cape May City. They sent out over, I think it was 17 West Cape May calls. They came to 17 times. The city of the paint department, the city of Cape May, came and helped out with 17 calls that normally, it's not just from our own borough. So we have the West Cape May guys, and we also get assistance from the city of Cape May. So yeah, they're mostly ambulance calls, or if there's a fire, they also assist. I think that's it, thank you.
Yeah, quick question on the police. Do you have it broken down by is that all Cape Island, is that just the entire force, or does it break it down by Cape May City, The Point, and West Cape May?
Well,
I know that you find that.
It's just a West Cape May. It's just a total. Yeah, I mean, we tickets, I think there were traffic summons issues and, 33. There's thousands that should have went to the city of Cape May, because they make so much money from tickets. Thousands of people. So I think we get, not to make money, but we could definitely use parking meters. That might help out with us with the traffic and fines. Because we keep that money, I think most of that money. Versus not keeping it. We don't even need, like a park boulevard, people are parking there with their lawn and not there. So maybe if you get the, what did you say, George, the old park lawn, things like that. You mentioned this.
Something to consider.
So that might be something to consider. And another thing, the new law was passed by Governor Murphy in 2021, I think, to go to the Canada stores. Sure, for some stores weren't following maybe, so. A bill was passed, so they had to ask straight things out.
That's
Yeah, original law. Other than that, I think we're okay.
Following up a little bit on safety, as you probably have seen, the curb painting where we did the corners between Park and Pacific and on Broadway and other streets to increase the sight lines, allow people to walk across the street instead of having to walk over top of a car because of the park all the way up to the corner. That should be finished. If you see a spot that you think needs to be done, please let me know, just send me an email, I'll make sure it gets taken care of, but I walk the streets a lot, so they all look like it's pretty much done. So anyone thinks they see something, let me know. And that's, again, it's to improve the sight lines, bus turns, the fire truck sight lines, and hopefully that will help. Second thing I have, they did the final presentation for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee, October 9th, and they want to come present to all the municipalities, so Lower Cape May Point, West Cape May, and Cape May City. I'm gonna ask them if they'll come to our next meeting and talk about the work that they did with the committee, and what their findings are, what the next steps are, and what the things. So that's gonna come up next meeting.
Again, I don't have to remember or write anything down. I have this fabulous screen. Next fundraiser is the 30th, that's a Monday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's next Wednesday, 2 showing.
Yep. No, actually, they canceled the 4:30. It's just the 6:30 option now. Or, yeah. So it's just the 6:30 option. But that's at Exit Zero Filling Station. Please buy your tickets for that, because they were concerned. We only had about 20 people signed up for it, as of right now. $35 for a buffet, and we're sure Focus Focus. It's, I can't say.
It's like,
This is great, the first time for KBA Brewing to kick in on fundraising. Friday, the 1st of November, they are having pint night, $1 from every pint sold will be donated to the Christmas parade. So that is
that's from 4 to 8.
I'm not saying. They're releasing some. The next one, it's been busy dinner, that was just another opportunity not to book. That's on the 18th, I believe that's 4 to 8 as well. And then we have hospitality night in West Fleet, Maine. Hillsborough staff will be setting up in the park along with RSK Donuts. We'll be giving in hot chocolate and donuts. Greg Carpenter's going to be playing. All the businesses are going to have sales and specials, and promotions, and you have card. You get punched at different businesses and a drawing for prizes. It's just a nice night, not quite to the Christmas season, but a nice night to visit our local businesses and just have some fun with neighbors. So please come out and support our business community. This time I'll open for public comment. If anyone from the public would like to speak, please come forward and state your name. So long, Jerry. You're good?
Short distances.
Yeah, just good. Green means go. You don't have to hold it.
Jerry Lotto, 318 Third Avenue. It follows up on the conversation with Bike Path George. You had mentioned and had similar conversations with Jack about the Grand Street cut through, you know, to go from Grand Street to First Avenue.
Yes.
Any further update on that?
This next week is the start of it. One of the things that findings of the consultant, as it works slowly, is what is the plan to get people off of water? I already think I know what the plan is, but as things are, they say, well, you can't just say that's the way it's going to be. We have to study to implement that plan. So it's been talked about at length, and if you what kind of detail on it, I can talk to you later, but you can actually go on and look at the meetings and see how it was discussed.
So has there been any preliminary cost estimates what it would be to?
We did a little reconnaissance mission down there to look at what kind of regulations we would have to get approved from the DEP, but no cost. I mean, remember, this would be a pedestrian bicycle bridge, so it's a doctor.
Yeah.
Which, the way,
Yeah, they did the half hour.
yes,
So I just happened to be walking through that, saw it, and it looked like a bridge that would maybe be adaptable for that cut
exactly.
through, so.
And that's the concept of what a bridge would look like. It's probably a little wider than that. But we also looked at what they're doing along Sunset Boulevard for that project, same concept. Obviously, you don't want to put too many support posts in the creek or anything like that, so you're probably gonna have to span, go all the way across it to sit it on. And it won't be, they'll bring it in and put it by a crane, so it shouldn't be that expensive.
What's interesting, I can't remember doing Google Maps. but it's either 60 feet or 60 meters, which is the space from the Grand Street Road to, I believe it's First Avenue.
It's a 50
Yeah, so it's good that it's not extremely a lot of property involved.
Well, it's interesting because if you walk the other side, there's, on the gateway side, there's quite a bit of property, and on one, there's one side, there's many houses.
Yeah.
So the thought, where's, understood the thought there, have a little park going up to it, benches, whatever, and then you get on their side, same thing. But, you know what I feel about this.
The cannabis store first went in, concerned about having to go through, say, Sunset and Broadway, because even though it would be going up the street where the cannabis store is now, it would at least keep people, including us, that would come down that way from Poland and just, go on Broadway and
It's clearly not a big group for them. And I don't use it, I'm sure you don't use it, I know other people here talking about it. Pacific is an extremely wide street. We need to make sure that that intersection at Pacific is, that is correctly, I mean, like, we're putting in which buttons so the light flashes, if it's likely, or flashing or something to slow people down. This is,
feel the time. Going back to, was it that was about it? So it might be 26 summer, 26. The Sunset Boulevard.
Fall 26.
yes.
And roundabout is fall 25. The roundabout is fall 25.
So, did I understand correctly that you try to piggyback this cut through on Green Street to
In an optimal world, that would be the case, Jerry, but the two project that we bid out separately, they already have the engineering and funding done. This is, the engineer, so it's a period, you got a few permits, so it'd be great if it would all correspond in the summer of 27, we would have all this in place.
For those of us that are up in years, can we narrow that down?
That's that far in, Jerry, so.
The other thing I wanted to mention, just to follow up on what Jack said, Governor Murphy passed it on him. And what it had to do was there was no age specifically for him. He made it 21 years old. In addition, in the 3-page bill that has become law is the now introduction of cannabis liquids, drinks.
Well, that's the fun thing, like all those drinks and things are in all these other locations in the city of Cape May.
Yeah, but it's.
So it's to be,
Well, the problem though, from the governor's standpoint is, in theory, it could be under the ABC, the Animal Beverage Commission by the state, but it's not. It's going to be under the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission. And the governor himself is concerned because they don't have an awful lot of personnel to be able to do the kind of things that are required for beverages. So it was brought up by the governor himself, discussions with the legislature if they could work together to resolve this, because it passed, but it's still nebulous in terms of, yes, it can be placed there, but who, and it's going to be the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission that's going to oversee it. It's just hopefully they have the manpower resources to do the job required. That's the essence of that.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
anyone else from the board wish to speak?
It's on.
It's on.
That's great.
Myers, we have what's hanging out. Just overview your star wage revenue generated by True Enough County to the new big article said generated at this point. And correct me if I'm wrong, 360,000.
About 260.
It's 260. A little bit different, but what I like to just as we go forth in the budget cycle, just could we consider that line item, you know, this time last year you did.
Correct.
Could that be at least some of that can put towards offsetting the budget? Taxpayer,
That's exactly what it is.
okay, just want to, because I know that this past year, and correct me if I'm wrong, something went into surplus?
No.
No, okay. So that, the revenue that we're getting from Trails Canada will be put in the budget to offset the tax base then? for next
It's
year.
an item of revenue. and then expenses, yes.
Okay. Thank you. And on the pint thing, does it work there?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I work there, I'm the greeter. One day.
Make sure.
But I think that
Which one?
the day's beer might be a chocolate fudge stout. So, I love stout, so.
Is that in beer, it's chocolate fudge, is that even a beer or is that a dessert?
It's both.
Thanks for your help.
Thanks, Bill.
Anyone else in the public wish to speak?
We find out who works where tonight. Thank you. Good evening, Roger Sullivan, 501 Bayshore Road. Thanks for the chance to speak, and I want to thank everybody for their service. First of all, I just want to follow up with something Tom said, and I think George, you have something to say. My understanding of the article about the revenues for Short Hills Canvas of 6,000, it actually includes, it's not really based on a calendar year, it includes funds from the prior year. So currently, for the first 2 quarters of this year, the first quarter, we generated 43,000 first quarter. The second quarter, effective June 30th, we generated 62,000, and that's before the busy season. So it wouldn't be surprising on a 12-month basis that if we hit $4 million, that 206,000. So it was just the way those numbers were available at the moment. So
I'm not, and obviously that's conjecture, so, I mean, if you look at what we did from September, and September was a short month because we didn't have it. If you just look at the months that they had, October, November, December, we don't necessarily think that they're gonna be higher than that significantly, just so you know, because if you look at the first quarter and you look at that, it's not that much of a difference. It's about $40,000. So I'm not sure where we would get another 40, conjecture is, it's gonna be $200,000. Where are you getting 40?
well, I think I guess the view, from the business development side, not to get into the weeds, from startup versus control. The last quarter of the year was $30,000, I'm sorry, $23,000. First quarter was 43, the second quarter was 62,000. And that was before the curtain really went up for the season. So I'm saying based on the business model, you see the trajectory like this. It wouldn't surprise me if you get 90,000 September 30th. And then if we had the first 3 quarters of, you know, if we continue from the start of to sales, I think it would be over 206,000. That's, but it's a good problem. Yeah, it's a good problem. I wanted to just ask the question. I was here tonight based on the story on the front page of about healthcare expenses, and it sounded like my point for me was one to ask the board if they had any thoughts. I know it's not off the press, but I did want to ask if you folks had any thoughts based on reading that story. And secondly, I wanted to add a few comments you have. So I'd like to ask you.
Which do you want to go first?
No, you guys go first.
All right, so,
Sure.
so every year when we're renewing insurance for our employees, this fine lady does her homework and shops plans. In recent years, we've had 2 catastrophic events which affect our premiums, which precluded us from saving any money. So this year will be no exception, or can explain maybe a little more about how she goes about doing that. But for the time being, it was the most cost-effective plan for us was to stay in the state.
And by the way, I'm glad you brought that up because George and I would probably agree. Just looking at one number, you don't see the asterisk and what's contained behind that number.
Yeah, so a private insurer would look at our losses, factor that into our costs.
So do I understand that, I guess to keep it simple, do I understand based on the rising, escalating costs of so many things, that we may in fact have a consultant take a look at that to see if we can follow?
We have a qualified purchasing person here who does that every year for us. This is Lauren Martella, she is borough staff. We hire a consultant, that's her job. Okay.
And what I did notice as well is, Cape, in the example we used of Cape May, after their careful analysis, they decided to leave the system and go to a private plan. And the features and benefits, the net effect of that, to the paper, is they were able to reduce the expenses. It sounds like a little bit too good to be true, but this is what's stated. Number one, they were able to decrease the premium, the average annual premium, by $1,600, and as well to be able to enhance the benefits. We had a lower deductible, according to the paper, the deductible will be less. And as well, this plan will have vision and dental. And they said everything else was very similar to the plan, if not better. So, but I think the bigger picture there, which I'd just like to mention, is that not only Cape May, but CIL City has left this plan, the state plan. And if I can segue into our town and what we have, again, it's just a number. But our healthcare benefits, according to the budget numbers that I've seen on the website, our cost of healthcare increased in 2023 by 107%. And that's not chump change. Now, it went from 142,000 to almost 300,000 in 1 year. Now, granted, there's no asterisk there. So, and as well, the other thing as a premise is that the employee headcount may be changed by one. It would be different now if you had double the headcount or something. That would be different. But I think the number, I don't have the numbers with me, but there may have been one personnel change or so full-time from what had been the year before. But certainly it was warrant, based on that limited information, it was not warrant doubling the premium. So again, Carol, as you said, maybe there's some rhyme or reason behind that doubling. But that's one of the concerns. And as well, not that this is in the board's control, but over the last 4 years, the average annual increase in the benefit plan for this Cape is 25.2%. And when health and the other two elements,
In the state health benefit.
sorry,
You're talking about the state health benefit.
no, I'm talking about all of them combined. The average annual increase in the expenditures, the benefits, was 25.2% aggregate. Clearly, though, if there's 3 horses in that race, the PERS, Social Security, and healthcare, the healthcare was the lead horse in the race by far. The other numbers were more muted, perhaps they didn't increase as much. Thus, that was the motivation, I'm sure, for Cape May to do what they did. They cited their premium went up 24% in 2021, 12% in 2023, and when I saw ours went up 107% in 2023. That was a flashing light to say, not to say, maybe it's a bargain for some reason that I don't know, but if that's the number that it went on, I think it's something clearly to be looked at. And if we had the good fortune, or if we do, have the good fortune of the information that was garnered by Cape May and CIL City, it would seem the worst case is we can just find out. We can short circuit it. Talk to them, Kevin Haney, the CFO over there, and he can tell us if this makes sense or not.
We have our own CFO.
Exactly.
CFO and by purchasing.
And I don't, so that's not what I didn't mean to demean the
Yeah,
Franklin. They not only have the benefit of the analysis of some outside parties, but they also have the benefit of comparing a couple of different plans for the features and benefits. So that's what I meant by gathering that information from them. Nothing to demean we have.
Mr. Sullivan, a couple of things. Our confidence didn't go up and 5% exactly what you said. But I think maybe what you did is we split our health benefits in two different funds. So the current fund handles most of our employees, while the sewer fund handles another few employees. So maybe one year you look at them separate, and the other year that could have been an issue. The last 3 or 4 years, we have gone out and looked at private companies to try to get a little bit of more of an insight on if we could get a lower price. Obviously, that's the objective goal for all of us. Unfortunately, there were events that led to be catastrophic that we were ineligible to even be insured by other people. So while Cape May City might have other employees that do have catastrophic events, we only have 11 health employees on our plan. So even if we have one, where most people don't even talk to us about it.
I appreciate that clarification. By the way, where I got my numbers from, I got them from the user-friendly budget on the website. And the number that I cited, I could be off by $1,000, but the base number went from 143,000 in 2022 to 296,000 in 2023, hence the 107%. That was the basis for that. But I didn't have any details or asterisks to look further.
Right, that might have just been a typo from the budget. I will look into that, but I can tell you that didn't. We did have maybe an additional employee and maybe some families that were here employees that went to maybe a single to a family coverage, and that is a large jump also. But it did not raise that much, so I'll check those numbers.
Okay, if I could, I appreciate that. If I could, the other reason that is in the user-friendly budget is once the numbers jumped from 143,000 to 296 in 1 year, the current year shows a number of 316,000. So it seems like the conclusion there is that one reaches the plateau of almost 300 grand from roughly 150. Now it's on a trajectory to go to 316.
So I can tell you that is both of them combined, our water and sewer utility and fund utility. And I'll look at the other number
Okay.
and see if maybe they both were included and they should have.
It'd be great. It'd be great. Again, I was just saying, it's the user-friendly budget, which is user-friendly instead of user-efficient, so it's helpful. So I appreciate you looking into it. We're all in the same camp. It's just that if there's a way we can save money and get off what, just leave this, my other footnote is, part of the reason these numbers are going up, and I only know this from the pension business, in 2021, the state was audited. Before then, they were not required to put their cost of benefits, which they call OPEB, other pension employee benefits, they were not required, according to the accounting standards, to put it on their balance sheet for the public and the rating services to do that. In 2021, the auditors were brought in and applied conservative accounting standards. As a result, they found out that they were $89 billion short in the bucket to pay total benefits for employees. That was because, although they authorized the monies in the 90s to create that fund, they never appropriated the funds each year to fund the bucket. And that's why when the auditors came in and they said, what's in your bucket for pension for benefits, they opened the bucket and there was nothing in it. So the numbers we're paying is probably being charged is probably not just the cover that comes to health care. It's the backfilled bucket, which is, we have an IOU of $89 billion. But that's a story for another day. I appreciate you looking into that very much.
I was gonna say, when we're having a beer,
Yeah.
we'll have that.
Yes. Okay. It's great. Roger, I'd like to have these detailed conversations about finance with you. Can I make a suggestion? We just spent 15 minutes talking about detail, probably most of the people in the room have no idea what either you or we were talking about. I think a more constructive way to handle this is come in, give us a list of the questions, we'll give you the actual answers. So we're not hiding anything. But it's hard when you come in and ask questions, very specific questions, so we don't comment that we don't have any data in front of us where we could give you exactly what you need.
Absolutely.
Without going through it like this.
It's a great idea. I'll do that in the future. I do travel a lot, so that's one of the reasons, but you know, that's a great idea.
But you know my phone, you can always call me.
Sounds great. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Sir, for you. You can ask me any question, any hard question, anytime, and I'll get the answer for you.
Sounds
There's
great.
no such thing as a wrong question. I love it, very much.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment? Seeing no one else wishing to speak, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second motion.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Antonelli,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Here.
Mayor Sabo.
Yes.
See you at home, folks.
Monday.